Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers the extension of traffic stops, parking violations, and mental health, and comes to us from Mac and Bravo's channel. Be sure to check out the description below and get them the credit that they deserve. Sometime in the fall of 2019, YouTuber, adventurist, and part-time delivery driver Mac Proctor, along with his dog Bravo, were parked in a non-designated parking spot in a private parking lot outside an L&L Hawaiian barbecue in Millbrae, California. According to Mr. Proctor, his vehicle was not impeding traffic, and he only left it there for 2 minutes while he picked up a carry-out order from the restaurant. After Mr. Proctor returned to his vehicle, a San Francisco PD K-9 unit, whose nameplate is partially obscured, approached him about an alleged parking violation. What can be seen on the officer's name tag reads C. Cord, and I was able to locate a public pay log that lists an Officer Carlos Cordova, who was last promoted in 2019. I also found this image of an Officer Carlos Cordova with the SFPD's K-9 unit from July of 2007 that looks strikingly similar to the officer involved in this encounter. I cannot say with absolute certainty that these two individuals are the same officer, or that this officer's name is Officer Cordova, but for the sake of clarity, I will refer to him as such for the remainder of this episode. The video begins just after Officer Cordova stopped Mr. Proctor and retrieved his identification and vehicle registration paperwork.
All right, Mr. Proctor. That is your last name. Alright. Everything okay?
Do I need to answer any of your questions?
You don't have to answer anything, dude.
Okay.
You don't have to. Lucky you stand here all day. I get paid either way.
Can you go ahead and finish your job so I can carry on?
What's it with the anger, dude?
I'm not angry.
You're not angry? You always talk to everybody like that?
I'm not angry.
Oh, okay.
I just want you to go ahead and wrap things up, please.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Proctor asks if he needs to answer any questions, and Officer Cordova informs him that he does not, stating that he can, quote, stand here all day, and interprets Mr. Proctor's unwillingness to answer questions as anger. Despite Officer Cordova's assertion that he can stand and wait for Mr. Proctor to answer his questions, police officers cannot legally extend the length of a traffic stop simply because a citizen refuses to answer questions. In the 1983 case of Florida versus Royer, the U.S. Supreme Court determined that although law enforcement officers do not violate the Fourth Amendment by approaching an individual on the street or in another public place and asking questions, quote, the person approached need not answer any question put to him. He may decline to listen to the questions at all and may go on his way. He may not be detained even momentarily without reasonable objective grounds for doing so, and his refusal to listen or answer does not, without more, furnish those grounds. The framework for a traffic stop is a bit more complicated than a police stop that occurs on the street. Because, as the Supreme Court noted in the 2005 case of Illinois versus Cabayas, an initially justified traffic stop can, quote, become unlawful if it is prolonged beyond the time reasonably required to complete that mission. In the 2009 case of Arizona versus Johnson, the Supreme Court explained that, quote, a traffic stop of a car communicates to a reasonable passenger that he or she is not free to terminate the encounter with the police and move about at will, and that the fact that the officer has completed the original mission of the traffic stop does not communicate to the driver or passenger that their detainment had ended and they are free to leave. For this reason, the Supreme Court held that police officers cannot ask questions about matters unrelated to the justification for the traffic stop if those questions measurably extend the duration of the stop. When it comes to Officer Cordova's claim that Mr. Proctor was angry, exercising the right to silence is not anger. And even if he was angry, he has a right to feel that way and express himself accordingly. With very limited exceptions, the First Amendment protects the right to free expression, including negative emotions such as anger. In the 1949 case of Terminiello versus Chicago, the Supreme Court concluded that, quote, a function of free speech under our system of government is to invite dispute. It may indeed best serve its high purpose when it induces a condition of unrest, creates dissatisfaction with conditions as they are, or even stirs people to anger. While it is unclear whether Mr. Proctor was angry during his encounter with Officer Cordova, all of his speech in the interaction was protected by the First Amendment, and he was perfectly within his rights to express himself.
All right, well, you know,
I was gonna just so far.
I'll give you a break on it, but you know what I'm saying? This isn't a parking spot, okay, dude?
You're not giving me a break. You're harassing me at this point. I'd like to leave. May I leave now, please?
Well, do you understand?
Am I being detained?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
All right. So do you understand why I stopped you?
Do I need to answer any more of your questions?
You don't have to.
Okay.
Okay. But then again, I could do this all day too.
Okay.
All right. So, would you like to leave? Mr. Proctor, would you like to leave?
Do I need to answer any more of your questions?
Hello. No.
Just stop being a dick and
I'm not
treat
the one that's
cop
acting
like
this
a
way,
human.
okay? I'm just asking you to do, I'm trying to give you a break here, all right?
Officer Cordova informs
No,
Mr.
as long as
Proctor
you're right,
that
you
he
don't
is
have
being
to.
detained because the location where he is parked is not a parking spot. However, the California Vehicle Code does not regulate most parking violations on private property,
2
with a
years
few
park.
exceptions found in Section 22500.1, which prohibits parking in a designated fire lane in a private parking lot, Section 22507.8, which prohibits parking in a space designated for disabled persons without a proper placard in a private parking lot, and Section 22511.1, which prohibits parking in a space reserved for zero-emission vehicles without a valid decal in a private parking lot. Additionally, a 2011 opinion issued by then California Attorney General Kamala Harris clarified that, quote, a citation or notice of parking violation may be issued only for illegal parking, that is, parking in violation of federal, state, or local law. Accordingly, a citation under the Vehicle Code may not be issued in connection with parking on private property that merely violates the property owner's rules rather than federal, state, or local law. While Section
I didn't even know that.
21107.8 of the California Vehicle Code allows cities and counties to pass ordinances or resolutions declaring that some parts of the Vehicle Code apply to certain privately owned and public off-street parking facilities,
who
parking
does
violations
think it's
are
done that?
not included in the statutes that can be applied
private.
to private lots. Section 7.28.010 of the San Mateo County Code of Ordinances allows the Board of
Property owners?
Supervisors to designate parking restrictions or prohibitions as necessary on streets, portions of streets, or county-owned property. But neither the ordinances of San Mateo County nor those of the city of Millbrae
he's not getting a
cover
break, is
parking
he?
violations in private parking lots. Not only was Officer Cordova outside of his physical jurisdiction as a San Francisco police officer when detaining Mr. Proctor, but it does not appear that Mr. Proctor was violating any law for which a citation could be
Bruh,
issued.
the way you eat wings should be illegal.
I prefer you just write me the parking ticket and let me go.
Right, okay, okay. All right, dude. I was trying to be nice to you. All righty. Will you hold on? Having it, right? Yeah. So just let you know what's going on. We're having another guy coming over real quick. Traffic guy with a side book, since you want a ticket. So otherwise, I didn't want to go through all this hassle. You know what I'm saying? Is
What?
everything okay? Is there any other issues or anything going on?
Bro.
That you know of?
Easy 24.
Do I need to answer your questions?
If I was having a bad day, shut up, bitch. Oh, it's so annoying.
Having a bad night, Felix. Can I get a welcome
Do
to
I
the
need to
jungle
answer any of your
XQCL?
questions?
Don't joke about it.
If there's something wrong, it would be nice, yeah.
Do I need to answer any of your questions?
You don't have to talk to me. I'm just saying. I'm just concerned about your well-being. That's all I'm saying. Usually we don't get people hostile.
I've not been hostile.
Okay.
Officer Cordova tells Mr. Proctor that he is concerned about his well-being because he is acting quote-unquote hostile, and implies that Mr. Proctor may be mentally unstable. The mental health training that police officers receive varies greatly depending on the police department and the officer's position. In February 2011, the San Francisco Police Commission established a crisis intervention team work group, which included criminal justice system employees, mental health service providers, advocates, community members, consumers of mental health services and their families, and other city agency representatives, to develop new mental health training programs and field approaches. As of
This is
September
very important,
19th, 2019, 95.69% of San Francisco PD officers had participated in a 10-hour crisis intervention field tactics
For big
course,
cities,
but less than half
especially
had
in our
completed
today's
a
world,
40-hour comprehensive training
It's very
course.
important.
According to the San Francisco PD's website, the courses are based on the Memphis model of crisis intervention team training, which emphasizes de-escalation of potential crises by allowing time and distance, which means slowing down and giving the mentally distraught individual space. It is unclear what amount of mental health training Officer Cordova had received, but it is clear that his accusatory questioning of Mr. Proctor's mental status did not help de-escalate the situation. While the National Alliance on Mental Illness does list prolonged or strong feelings of irritability or anger as one of the common signs of mental illness in adults, it is highly unlikely that Officer Cordova could have arrested Mr. Proctor, even if he did believe that Mr. Proctor was suffering from mental illness. Because, although police officers are permitted to detain individuals based on mental health concerns, this authority is limited to situations where the individual is a danger to themselves or others, or is gravely disabled. According to Section 5150 of the California Welfare and Institutions Code, a peace officer can take an individual into custody for up to 72 hours for assessment, evaluation, and crisis intervention when there is probable cause that the individual is a danger to themselves or is gravely disabled as a result of a mental health disorder. After this initial 72-hour detainment period,
That's not a bad thing. Okay, let me just wash my hands. Chat, give me one second, wash my hands. Okay, hold on. Chat, I want to watch the video, you know? So, like.
xQcl.
Are you guys hearing that? What is that? Wait, hold up. Jackie, give me like 10 seconds. Yeah, fuck, man.
25 months.
Bruh, it was my fucking cat. Just got fed when it was really hungry, and it's like fucking slamming the bowl to the ground like a maniac, man. Dude, it's like slamming the bowl with his tongue, man.
Section 5250 of the California Welfare and Institution.
Guys. Always try to think about these things in both the positive way it could be used or the negative way, right? So somebody being detained for no reason would be fucking annoying for 72 hours, right? But if somebody's literally unstable, right? And you're at your home,
This
and you're having
used to
some sort
cover
of
the entire roll of
crazy
paper towels.
episode, right? Where you could be like positive danger to yourself, whatever, right? This could literally save your life, right? This could literally just if they generally feel like this guy is out of control and he's a danger to himself, let's give him an evaluation or whatever. It could save your life, literally. If it's used poorly, well, that's another story.
Danger to themselves or is gravely disabled as a result of a mental health disorder. After this initial 72-hour detainment period, Section 5250 of the California Welfare and Institutions Code also allows the individual to be involuntarily certified for up to 14 days of intensive treatment related to the mental health disorder or impairment by chronic alcoholism if the evaluating professionals determine that the individual is a danger to themselves or others or is gravely disabled as a result of the mental health disorder or impairment by chronic alcoholism, and the individual has been advised of the need for treatment but has not been willing or able to accept it voluntarily. Given the requirements of the California Welfare and Institutions Code, it would be nearly impossible for Officer Cordova to legally take Mr. Proctor into custody in this situation, because Officer Cordova did not have probable cause that Mr. Proctor had a mental health disorder or that he was a danger to himself or others, and Mr. Proctor clearly was not gravely disabled.
Oh, usually we don't get people wanting a ticket. You know what I'm saying? I'm going through all this. I could be having my lunch right now. All right, dude. Well, we'll be waiting, dude. Hurry up, dude. It's cutting my lunchtime. Hey, Mr. Proctor, can I just give you your stuff so you can leave?
Can you?
I can, but you're the one. I would have let you go a long time ago.
What do I need to do for you to hand me my documents so I can
I'll
leave?
give it to you right now. I just want to know that, you know what I'm saying, you're okay, because usually I don't get people all this.
What do I need to do for you to hand me my documents so I can be on my way?
You're okay.
I don't need to answer any of your questions.
Hey, there we go again. Jesus Christ. You know? I'm trying to say that...
You're trying to display your power to me right now.
I'm concerned about it. Is there a problem to be concerned about another human being?
You have no reason to be concerned about me.
So it's okay then. You're okay then.
You can hand me my documents and I can be on my way. Or we can...
Okay. So if I hand you your stuff, you'll be fine and taken off and you're not angry, right? You're not gonna... Okay, here, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna take a chance on you, all right? Here. Mr. Proctor, you're right. Everything's cool, all right? We're blocking traffic here to your stuff. All right, hopefully you have a good day. Everything works out for you, all right?
Am I free to leave now?
Yes, you are.
Could you please step away from the vehicle?
Yes, I will. You have a good day.
After being released by the officer, Mr. Proctor started his vehicle and drove away from the scene without further incident. Mr. Proctor told me that he didn't file a complaint because he felt a sense of urgency to leave the encounter as quickly as possible, so he wasn't able to get the officer's name at the time.
I was in such a big hurry that I didn't even know what his name was. I never got a citation. I'm not a First Amendment auditor.
This lag, though.
Name and badge number, please. That didn't. So I've even gone back and watched the video and thought, can I just get his name off of his uniform?
Bro, is he living in a storage container?
So I was in such a hurry to break
I've seen this before.
and get on with my day. He was costing me money, that he was willing to go through great lengths as to have somebody else bring a cite book to him from across town. I was like, this guy's crazy. What is he going to try and do here? Because he's not got some criminal.
Overall, Officer Cordova gets an F for enforcing parking violations on private property, unnecessarily extending the length of the stop, and for questioning Mr. Proctor's mental health merely because he chose to remain silent. Officer Cordova's tactic of stalling the progression of the stop because Mr. Proctor did not want to answer questions is exactly the type of conduct that the court intended to prohibit in the Cabayas case. And the courts have concluded multiple times that officers may not extend the length of a traffic stop beyond what is necessary to accomplish the stop's mission. Barring the existence of an exclusive agreement between the property owner and the municipality, there is a high probability that Officer Cordova was not within his authority to issue a parking citation in the strip mall parking lot. And there are also legitimate questions to be raised about whether or not the officer was operating within his jurisdiction at the time. If Officer Cordova had genuinely witnessed Mr. Proctor's vehicle obstructing traffic, then the responsible course of action would have...
Wait, what would they do there if they give a citation? And would they have to give like the straight fucking name or whatever, and they put a private property?
Been to inform Mr.
How
Proctor
does that
he was
compute?
creating an obstruction and ask him to move, not initiate an investigatory detainment in a private parking lot outside of the department's jurisdictional authority. Officer Cordova's unprofessional demeanor and childish exercise of authority tarnish the credibility of his mission to free the parking lot traffic of obstruction. And this type of conduct only serves to erode the public's confidence in their local
I will
department.
link the
Mr. Proctor gets an A+ for invoking his right to silence peacefully and efficiently, refusing to allow the officers...
Not A+. He gets A. Not A+. Chill
to affect him emotionally and maintaining a calm and collected demeanor.
Please. Come on, dude. A, not A+.
There are serious implications associated with being accused of mental instability, especially if the accusing party is in a position of authority. For most of us, it is impossible to predict how we would react to such allegations, and it is safe to assume that there is no appropriate reaction to be had in that scenario. Overwhelming denial of the officer's claims may have led to further validation of the officer's suspicions, and admitting that you're feeling agitated and angry may invoke officer safety concerns. This is why Mr. Proctor's decision to remain uncompromisingly silent and emotionless was the best course of action for this interaction. Mr. Proctor is not a First Amendment auditor, and although he does have a YouTube channel, the majority of its content has nothing to do with law enforcement. The fact that Mr. Proctor does not regularly interact with the police proves his ability to remain calm and navigate this encounter with precision and poise to be that much more impressive. The only thing that this interaction is lacking is accountability. But it is difficult to fault Mr. Proctor for not filing a complaint, given that he is not a First Amendment auditor and does not actively participate in
First Amendment auditor.
I commend Mr. Proctor for excellently demonstrating a balanced use of the right to remain silent and remaining composed and peaceful while doing so. I highly recommend subscribing to Mac and Bravo's channel.
The problem is that I like this channel because it actually has good cases to audit, but most public auditors are fucking dog shit. Like, most channels that do audits are complete delusional dumb fucks.
Find a link in the description below. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic that you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to check out the ATA Patreon page.
They push the boundaries like crazy. They do really weird shit to fucking get the police to show up. They're just weird, man. Because if everybody starts doing this audit shit, dude, motherfucker, the police force is gonna have like 0 people to fucking actually handle like normal shit. Motherfucker, everybody's just stuck. Dude, some weirdo is filming in my garage in real life. And, yeah, but it's not illegal though. Oh man, come on, man. Everybody starts doing this shit. It's so fucking annoying, man.